It's time to get one of the best Star Wars games in recent memory some more representation in the Black Series. Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony. You know, I personally pretty much retired from video gaming a long time ago. I moved away from it in order to spend more time playing board games and other things like that. But I definitely came out of retirement for Jedi Fallen Order. This game was awesome. It was immersive, it was expansive, it built upon the lore, it introduced us to even more threats. It was incredible. The size and scope were just unprecedented, and it introduced us to a whole bunch of new characters that I really want to get little plastic figures of. So that's what we're talking about today. We are continuing the Wishlist series, and I'm bringing you 5 characters that I need to see come to the Black Series from Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor is right around the corner, so this seems like the perfect opportunity to talk about this. So let's get into it. Now, obviously, I'm going to be following my same rules that I always follow on these videos, which is it's just a general release, so it's either a general release or a deluxe, and we're not talking about vehicles, we're not talking about HasLabs, so you won't be seeing the Black Series HasLab Mantis on this list, I can tell you that right now. Although, that would be pretty cool. I'm also going to be sticking more to characters rather than creatures, because obviously Fallen Order has a wide variety of creature opponents, but you won't be finding a Black Series HasLab Ogda Bogdo on this list. Kicking things off with some honourable mentions, first I'd like to see Grease come to the line. He's got such a unique design, the alien sculpt would go so well with what the Black Series does so fantastically, and I have a thing for multiple armed characters. I like characters that have more than 2 arms. I just think they look great, especially in figure form, and it gives us some brilliant opportunities for really experimental posability. Another honourable mention would be Tarful, the Wookiee chieftain. He shows up for a brief little interaction in the game, and I think he'd be a fantastic Black Series figure. Somebody mentioned him back when I was talking about Revenge of the Sith characters that I'd like to bring to the line, and yeah, he completely slipped my mind. What a brilliant Wookiee character to add to the line. And now we're getting a new mold for Black Chrysanthemum, so it just screams that this is the perfect opportunity to bring Tarful to the line. We've got a new, bulky body, well suited for the chieftain of the Kashyyyk Wookiees. And finally, on the honourable mention front, I would just like to see as many different variants of Purge Trooper as we can get in figure form. These guys are a menace in the game. They drive me crazy, and I've never been very good and never got the hang of the fight mechanics in the game, so every time a Purge Trooper shows up, I basically just force push them off a cliff and hope for the best. But yeah, we have the Electro Staff Purge Trooper, we have the Phase 2 Purge Trooper from Kenobi, and we also have the generic Purge Trooper. But let's get some more, let's get some double-wielding Electro Baton Purge Troopers in the line. Let's get that massive Electro Hammer in the line. Bring me as many of these guys as you want to produce. I will buy them all. I love Purge Troopers, and I usually don't like to talk about Trooper variants when I'm doing these lists. I will make an exception for the Purge Troopers. Honourable mentions out of the way, let's get into the list. Coming in at number 5, you have Seer Junda. What a brilliant character to bring to the line. I feel like this would be such a simple figure to put together, combined with like figures from Andor and other kind of smuggler characters that we've had in the line. You could mishmash a pretty decent Seer figure together, I feel. And once you've got the body assembled from a bunch of pre-existing parts, all you really need to focus on is the head. So really take it home with the head. Give me a really solid Seer head, and I will be very happy indeed. Seer is a big part of the story, and she ties in so many different places in Cal's journey. I kind of feel like she's an essential character for the Black Series. We need to bring her in, and we know she's getting an updated look for Jedi Survivor, so really I would take either version. I would take Smuggler Seer, or I would take New Jedi looking Seer. I'd take either of them. Just give me Seer. In terms of accessories, you could throw in her old lightsaber, you could even include the Second Sister's lightsaber that she acquires over the course of the game. And being as she has such a deep connection to the Second Sister, maybe this would be an opportunity to include an alternate head for that old Red Lion figure. As much as I love my Second Sister Inquisitor figure, I really want to get a Triller head on there because there's something next level when she takes that helmet off and you see who's underneath. She just looks incredible. So this would be a brilliant opportunity to include that extra head. Besides this, you could really throw in some force effects, maybe like force barrier, like she has at the end of the game when she's squaring off against Darth Vader. I would take any of these things. Seer comes in at number 5 on my list.
I'll have a Jedi with me. Kneel. By the right of the Council, by the will of the Force, Cal Kestis. Rise, Jedi Knight. You are ready.
So are you.
Speaking of Inquisitors, at number 4 we have the Ninth Sister. Probably my favourite Inquisitor design out of all of them. This could be an incredibly imposing and dynamic sculpt. I would be thrilled with this. The Black Series, as I have said repeatedly across this series, always does a magnificent job when it comes to aliens, and this is an incredibly imposing alien Inquisitor. I think because of her size, she would probably have to be relegated to a deluxe figure, but I would be okay with that because you need that kind of size and bulk behind this character. She's incredibly imposing. And she has, probably in my opinion, the best boss battle of the entire game. So I'm all over this character. And of course, expanding into a deluxe size gives us even better options when it comes to engineering. I'd like to get on her helmet, I'd like to be able to have the visor fold back so you can see her full face. I think if I'm remembering correctly from one of the comics, she's actually missing an eye. So that would be a brilliant deep dive sculpt on the figure, to have the visor pull back and you've got her missing eye from the comics. Really, when it comes to Inquisitors, all you need to put in the box to get me to buy it is just the lightsaber, but the Ninth Sister's lightsaber is so big and so cool looking. I feel like it's going to be one of the best sabers in the entire line if we do get it. In fact, being as it's a deluxe figure, I wouldn't mind them experimenting a little bit with the lightsaber. Let me see if you can get a rotating hilt into the line. I very much doubt it. The engineering's probably not quite there yet, but I feel like you could pull it off. Failing that, just give me a removable arm. Give me the ability to cut that arm off, because that was one of the most brutal moments in the fight, and the fact that she just picked up her lightsaber with the other hand and just kept fighting. It's awesome. I love this character. I need a Black Series figure of her. The Ninth Sister comes in at number 4.
Being an Inquisitor taught me no setback is too great. When you've already lost yourself, a limb's easy. You know, I was a Jedi. It'd be fun to bring you in. Watch you rock like the rest of us!
At number 3, we have another red lightsaber-wielding fiend from the game. It's Taron Malicos. I knew there was something off about this guy from the very moment we saw him in the game. This is another one of those figures that I feel could be really, really simple and really, really awesome. To be perfectly honest, just slap it on a Night Brother warrior body, and you could build a really solid Malicos figure. You know, he's got those scars cut into his chest that kind of look like the patterns that the Night Brothers have on their chests, like he's almost trying to emulate them in some way. That would look fantastic in Black Series form, and you've got that rippling Night Brother body, you may as well use it. And once you're done there, you can really just slap some new decorative rags onto the lower half of his body, kind of like they did with the Darth Nihilus figure back in the day, and you've got a solid Malicos figure. The Black Series usually goes with pretty neutral head sculpts and expressions. This is one of those situations where I'd like them to break that rule. Bring in like a scowl or a grimace, something that looks really cool, and you really sell me on this guy. I think that would look absolutely brilliant. Throw in some screen-accurate weapon storage where he can clip his lightsabers to his belt, and you have a sale. I would be very, very happy with that indeed. But if you really want to push the boat out, maybe include like a soft goods robe so you can make him up like the dirty old hermit that he first appears as at the start of the game. Taron Malicos comes in at number 3.
We both survived the Purge. My troops betrayed me. I was forced to strike them down, and I escaped to this desolate place. To the darkness here. It almost took me. but I conquered it.
Coming in at number 2, we have Jaro Tapal. I mean, we've got Zeb in the line, so why the not? This would be an excellent chance to reuse that Zeb body and get a whole new character out of it. This is a character that a lot of people have done up customs for, and they always look great, but you can always tell it's a custom because it's always Zeb's head. So let's get a proper Tapal figure into the line. This could be an absolutely brilliant figure. I feel like it would have to be deluxe because of the size, and obviously when Zeb came out, he was deluxe and he came with a bunch of cool options for his gun and some extra effects, so maybe you could throw some cool stuff like that in. Because as a lot of people have proven, all you really need to do is just produce some new Jedi armor molds to go over the top of that original Zeb body, and it completely transforms the figure. But hey, if you want to justify the deluxe price even more, why don't you just slap in a little kiddie Cal? I'd love that. I think that'd be brilliant. I mean, we've got the 13th Battalion. If we get a little kiddie Cal and a Jaro Tapal, we can happily go about recreating the most traumatic scene in the entire game. But really, let's be honest, if you just slap this guy in a box and throw his lightsaber in, I'm gonna buy it anyway. Jaro Tapal comes in at number 2.
Get up. Try again.
Just keep failing, Master.
Do you? Good. Keep failing. Keep getting back up. That is the only way to succeed. Do not allow yourself to be weighed down by ego and pretense. Let go of what you fear to lose and rise up.
But the number 1 character from Jedi Fallen Order that I need to see come to the Black Series is Merrin. This is probably my favorite character from the entire game, and I need more Night Sisters in the Black Series line. This is another opportunity for a really, really well done head sculpt and a really good face print. She's got those fantastic facial tattoos going on, and she'll fit in really well with all the Night Brother variants that they've been pumping out. Give us the one that's controlling them all. Merrin had a really unique look in the game. She had so many flowing robes, the different shades of red were all fantastic. I feel like it would look absolutely brilliant in Black Series form. You could mix hard plastic and soft plastic with soft good capes. It would just look incredible. And really, that's all I need for a great Merrin figure. Just a great combination of all the things that the Black Series does so well, all combined together into one figure. It would be brilliant. You know it would be. In terms of accessories, I kind of touched on this idea back when I talked about Mother Talzin in the Clone Wars video, but you could take all of those Palpatine lightning effects and just turn them green and turn them into Night Sister magic effects that would work so well. I think she also has like the top of someone's skull at one point, so maybe you could throw that in as well just for a fun little inclusion. I absolutely love her design, I absolutely love the character. Merrin is the number 1 character from Jedi Fallen Order that I would like to see come to the Black Series.
You have no right to Dothamir. No right to our magic. Get up, Cal Kestis. You're not dead yet.
So those were 5 characters from Jedi Fallen Order that I would love to see come to the Black Series. Do you have some ideas on this subject? I know you do. Drop me a list down below in the comments and let me know what characters you need to see come to the game. Even if it's just 5 different varieties of Stormtrooper. I don't care. I'm always interested. Next week's video will be the first video of May, so obviously we will be talking about the fine additions to the collection from April, but join us next time on the Wishlist series, where we will be talking about 5 characters from Andor that I need to see come to this line. In the meantime, however, I've been Grand Moff Tony. You may subscribe when ready. Shush! Do you mind? Tebow.